Now, this is another week in which I'm so mad that I lost a file to our Lego Movie episode because it is made by the same guys, Chris Miller and Phil Lord.
We talk about them a lot.
We talk about them a lot, and how their talent and their approach to movies and to everything, but especially like some of their movies, like it's so singular in Hollywood. And I really feel like these movies occupy a space adjacent to that of the Lego Movie in a lot of ways, especially the first one. Because much like the Lego Movie, a feature-length animated adaptation of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is a stupid fucking idea.
Yup.
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's like a 20-page children's book that was at the time 30 years old. It's just a silly story about food falling from the sky, and they're like, okay, that's what happened. Now please go to sleep. Please go to sleep.
Well, there's like a frame narrative and stuff. I like reread the book. Because apparently the movie actually cites a lot of things directly from the book. I was very surprised.
Yeah, but like it's basically like the premise of food falls from the sky like weather, and then they made a feature-length movie about that, basically having to make it all from whole cloth.
Yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Now, Miller and Lord wrote and directed the first one. The second one, they only produced it and wrote the story, but not the screenplay.
It's still pretty
and
good.
It's still pretty good, but you can kind of tell that, they didn't have their hands in that one as deeply, because I think it would have overlapped with Lego Movie a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they were all the way in.
Yeah. But this does definitely feel like a stepping stone towards Lego Movie in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I'm sure nobody was expecting anything out of this.
Oh my god, I wasn't. I like vehemently refused to watch it. I thought it was the dumbest. And then I kept hearing good things about it, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess it's not dumb. And then
it was a real dark horse. Because like, everybody saw the trailers and was like, are you kidding me? We're done, guys, as a culture. And then it came out, and not only was it very critically acclaimed, but much to my surprise, it did very well financially. Which is, of course, good because it deserves it. It's a great movie, but I'm very surprised it ended up working out that way. Because I can't imagine anybody other than, like, little kids seeing that trailer and be like, oh, I'm excited for that. I imagine everybody who, like, remembers the book being like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people really like that book growing up, and it's a fun, playful book.
I had never heard of it before.
It's a fun little children's book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I guess my finger was just off the pulse of children's literature.
Did you not have a cool librarian who'd read you books in library time at school?
I mean, like, not since, like... I mean, they did when I was really, really young. How old? Like, I guess they just passed it up.
Aw.
For other shit. Like that one about that caterpillar. Man, what a fuck.
The hungry one?
That fish. That shiny-ass fish.
Rainbow fish?
The fuck's up with him?
That book's kind of problematic in retrospect.
God.
And wasn't there like another rainbow fish that was like a stegosaur?
Something like that.
Where it's the same thing where it's like he's in the same position on every page so they can have the hole in it where the shiny thing's on the back.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just thinking about this for the first time. I bet a lot of the presses that they have to use for children's books are crazy.
Probably, yeah.
It's like with a book, it's just like, okay, it's a book. Here's the letters on it. Fuck. It's like, oh, we gotta have this hole, we gotta have this fuzzy thing, we gotta have this finger puppet that your dad put his finger through, and he's like, I'm a little puppy, or whatever. Man, I hope that's real, and I'm not, like, having a fever dream right now.
That's real. Anyway, so what's this movie about, guys?
It is...
Tell me. I wasn't sure. You can keep going.
It's on a superficial level, much like the Lego Movie, a pretty standard kids movie, and that it's a story about the one guy in the small town who's got the big ideas and nobody believes in him, but then he has the great idea and everybody loves him, but he fucks it up and everybody hates him, then he fixes the problem. It's pretty bog standard, in its structure, which I think is part of the genius of Lord and Miller, is how good they are at sneaking their pitches. as like pitching their projects as something that doesn't fully represent what they're gonna be. There's no way they pitched Lego Movie as like, oh, this is a movie. Oh, this is you know, a dystopian story for little kids about creativity and everything, and Batman's in it, and we're making fun of the entirety of the movie in every frame of the movie, and man, it's gonna be great. They didn't go to the office like, hey, Legos, we'll make a movie of that.
Yeah, like, well, I was watching this film and I was just flabbergasted by how skillfully mediocre it is in its structure. Like, they're hitting all the beats perfectly, and it's very aware that it's doing these things. It's doing it very consciously. Like, that whole opening monologue with the main character, I was just giggling because I was just like, oh my god, here we go. Even the part with the dead mom, I was just like, ha ha, of course she's dead. Like, because it's just, we know the story so inside and out that it's just like, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's almost like a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
They masked this, they hid this interesting movie inside a fucking boring movie.
Yeah. Like,
and like, even on the superficial level of like this pretty bog standard story, it's well executed, you know, visually it's very fun and interesting.
The style is wonderful.
It's got a very like, yeah, it's got a very loose cartoony style.
It really does. I love the animation in this.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
This is one of my this is one of the examples, like, this is the second one too, that I'll point to it and go like, no, you schmucks, they don't use CG as a crutch. You still gotta know how to fucking animate things to make it look good, regardless of how it's animated. And I think a lot of industry people, like, still hold on to that. Like, you just see them, they're just so hardcore 2D guys. They're like, man, every time something CG comes out, you always see them tweet like, but why isn't it in 2D? Because they don't want to do it that way. I don't know. Why isn't it stop motion? Why isn't it drawn on a fucking bar napkin? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, like,
it's like somebody's seeing Snow White. It's like, why isn't there shadow puppets? Fuck off.
I don't know. It could be. Who cares?
It's not.
Do it that way.
Get over it. And it's so stylized. Everything's wiggly and wombly. Everybody's like a Muppet face.
Yeah.
Their profiles, like, you
They're
see
really
through
Muppety.
their mouths and stuff. Like, it's so fun to look at and so, like,
Everybody's all
energetic.
chunky.
So yeah, so we get our typical opening. Mom's dead, because of course she is. Hilarious kid trauma at school. That's stupid. It's a stupid trauma. Like, I love how...
But again, it's a very Lord and Miller thing. Like, he's like, spray on shoes. It's cheap shoes for everybody. Cause, you know, people need shoes. If you don't have shoes, you'll die. And he sprays them on. It's like, how are you gonna get them off? Oh crap, I can't. For the entirety of both movies, he still has those spray-on shoes on. He simply cannot get them off.
No.
His feet are gone.
Well, and...
Apparently, the spray-on grew with his feet.
I guess, yeah.
I guess it's flexible somewhat.
The man can never go into a Japanese bathhouse.
He can't go in any Japanese homes.
It's that, but also just, like, the way they portray, like, kid cruelty. It's, like, so half-assed, like, ha ha, you're dumb. Like, that's it. Like, there's no cleverness to these kids who are being mean. They're just shitty kids, and it's, like, that's part of the joke.
He's the only one of us who tried to be extraordinary, but since he didn't get it right out of the gate, we'll mock him forever.
Yeah, like, it's just...
Baby Brent might as well have said that.
Yeah.
Everything Baby Brent says is like, it's basically just explaining what a character like him would say, more than an actual what a character would say. It's wonderful. A lot of characters are like that, but him especially. So, he grows up, mom's dead, lab leaving him, monkey, montage of failed wacky experiments.
Nobody believes in me, especially not my old school dad, voiced by James. Is it Con or Kane?
James, I think it's Con. James Con.
Okay.
Con.
Yeah. Veteran actor James Caan. Sounds like a cool old guy.
With bushy.
The main guy we haven't talked about, his name is Flint Lockwood.
Yeah.
Which is like most of the way to a pun.
Apparently that was a carryover when he was imagined more as not a loser. That was like when he was more like a suave, cool guy, and then they were like, nah, let's make him a loser.
Wow, they were gonna do that? That sounds not
It's like
the right move.
that's like a name of an Errol Flynn knockoff character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flint Lockwood.
Yeah, he's voiced by Bill Hader, and I have to wonder. Bill Hader is the voice of the Red Angry Bird in the terrible Angry Birds movie, and maybe he took that role being like, well, colliding with the Chance of Meatballs was a dumb idea that nobody believed in, but that turned out great, so maybe lightning will strike twice. It's not going to, Bill.
Sorry, Bill.
I mean,
all
he
about
doesn't
the
give a
team.
fuck. It's a job. It's Angry
Yeah, I
Birds.
mean, it's
He's
a
getting
job.
paid.
But I bet there's probably something in the back of his mind. It's like, maybe this will be like surprisingly good, and I'll be the guy who's like in the surprisingly good animated movies.
Well,
Maybe that'll be my career.
Nope.
he goes into the booth. All right, today we're doing the piss drinking scene.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Oh, and the setting for this film takes place on an island underneath the A in Atlantic Ocean on the map called Swallow Falls. And their shtick is that they used to be like this big sardine fishing community. And then people stopped eating sardines because they're gross. That's the quote. And so they've gotten really poor and like they're not booming. And apparently all anyone can eat is sardines because no one will buy them. So they have to eat them. And it's, it's just like a dumb, silly, humorous town tragedy to act as this backdrop to like inspire Flint to make this place better.
And his invention that does is he has an invention that turns water into food. Which, they do a good job with the sci-fi element where it's like they explain it just like a little bit and like whatever.
Yeah.
Like they throw in some technobabble just for the fun of technobabble, but then it's like, it's a magic machine.
Yeah,
It's magic.
You can't mutate water into other things. That's not how chemistry works, but who cares?
Yeah.
It's fun. So yeah, it's the Flint Lockwood diatonic super mutating dynamic food replicator. Or the Fledsmith.
Flindener.
The Flids.
I
Yeah,
think he
it's a
says
great
it
joke.
different every time.
Yeah, they all do.
Flizdefender.
It's like there was no pronunciation guide, so it's like, just take a running start at it.
Flizdefender.
You listen, every time you want to say this word, it's just full on Red Rover.
So he's making the machine, he runs out of power, he's gonna go hook it up to some stuff. His dad is like, you need a real job. Come work with me in my store.
My eyebrow store.
My eyebrow store.
His design is great, because he doesn't have a visible eyes or mouth, it's just eyebrows and mustache.
Well, he does
Yeah.
have visible eyes, he just has to lift his brows very high. In surprise.
Yeah, but that's that part of his base model.
Yeah. And the mayor's got some thing he wants to do, so there's a big gathering in the middle of the square. Flint decides to go charge up his machine, and we get introduced to our mayor, played by the ever-charismatic Bruce Campbell. Even though he's playing the villain, he does a wonderful job making him just a delight to listen to. He's this dinky guy who's the mayor of a dinky town, and one day he wants to be big. It's a foreshadowing. That's how transparent this movie is. This movie is like, it doesn't try to hide its MacGuffins or anything. It's like very like, nope, which is all on the surface.
We all know what we're doing, so let's have some fun.
Yeah, you know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. Let's just get to the chase and do it already.
That's always that classic self-awareness that you really only get out of them. They're the only ones with the balls to really point the camera back at themselves and go like, we know what we're doing, but let's make this something good.
Yeah.
Let's all have fun.
And then Baby Brent, who we also were introduced a little bit earlier in the tackle shop, who's still like this town's celebrity somehow.
He's like a small town celebrity because like they're on an island, so they're extremely isolated. So they just have their own microcosm of weird sardine-based culture, and like he's the only person with any
notoriety.
Notoriety. Everyone else is just such
he's
a simple
basically
person.
As a baby, he was the mascot for their brand of sardines, and he was doing like the copper tone, oh no, my ass crack pose. But he's like a little baby, so whatever. But then he's like a fat old Andy Samberg dude. And we gotta keep looking at his butt crack.
Yeah.
In a diaper, yeah. I can't imagine Andy Samberg being fat.
No.
But anywho.
I mean, I don't know. People probably said the same thing about Adam Sandler, so let's see.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, the mayor's like, I'm gonna make this place great, because I'm great. Blah.
I'm gonna make Swallow Falls great again. Topical.
And he unveils this spectacular thing to get some press with the town. Meanwhile, a news reporter is sent to the town. Her name is Sam Sparks. She has a lovely introduction where they're like, we need somebody perky and expendable, and like, you know, all these jokey jokes. And they send her off. So she arrives around the same time, and it's a theme park. It's Sardine Land. It's dumb. It's hilarious. It's exactly what you would imagine it would be.
And meanwhile, Flint is trying to work the by hooking up to the power supply, and it like explodes, and he rockets all over the place. It's like the same scene from Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, kind of.
He fucks everything up, and everyone's like, "We hate you, Flint. Why don't you just go away? We're bad, and no one likes you." Even the dad's like, I can't do this anymore, kid.
I can't even look at you.
And he's like, so he slumps home. He's at his lowest, real hero's journey shit. And
he goes down to the docks.
The docks to mope, and then Sam is there also moping, and she kicks him in the eyes by accident. It's a great piece of slapstick.
Oh, it's hilarious. She's like, "Oh, does it hurt?" And he's like, "Nah, it's just pain." And then of course
what happens
gets before even that happens, she like starts geeking out about his shoes, and then we have the whole like glowing light over the girl, and the dude is just like, that, you know,
that face he makes when he does that, his gasp where his like head elongates by 300%.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I liked it a little better than the Lego Movie version of that, because at first he was like, oh, whatever, but then when she started talking about science and stuff, then he was like, oh, this is the best day of my life. Where in the Lego Movie, it was just like the first pretty girl Emmett had ever seen before. So it was kind of a different approach. But then
during the whole explosion, the Flimfsblubber got stuck in the atmosphere, and then it starts raining cheeseburgers. We got crazy clouds coming up, and it's raining cheeseburgers, and Sam starts reporting on that, and so she gets her big break being the food weather lady, and everybody loves Flint because like he made delicious food fall from the sky, and they're finally happy, and everybody's like, make this. There's this whole montage of him being the town hero. He does all this great stuff, but you know, he lets the fame get to his head, and it doesn't. The scientific integrity falls to the wayside, and the machine starts to get bad, and the molecules start mutating too much, and the food's getting too big, and it's dangerous.
Which is what happened in the book.
So there's all these great like the scene where it first starts getting bad is he takes his dad to a steak restaurant, which is just like a place with no roof, and they just let the food fall in.
It's also from the book.
Yeah, which is was stressful as hell. Yeah, because everybody's just walking around, and then the steaks land right on the tables. But like, what if they didn't? and then like the steaks are getting bigger, like smashing tables underneath them. Because like the whole time the dad's like, I don't think this is right. Food's not supposed to fall from the sky last time I checked. Am I the only crazy one here? It's like, yeah, Dad, you are the only crazy one. Why can't you be happy for me for once?
Why can't you just love me, Dad?
And he can't communicate properly with his son. All he knows is like shitty fisherman's metaphors about the sea.
Dad, I don't understand.
His son can't parse that.
Dad, I don't understand fishing metaphors.
That's probably like what my kid's gonna be like when I keep talking about Pokemon.
Yeah. But the scene where the sky first starts raining food, and the gag with the like,
Yeah, everybody gasping at
every fucking character, and it just keeps going. Like, that's what these guys do best. You know, they take these, what would be easy gags that you would roll your eyes out in like a movie trailer and just like push it in the right place to the right amount. Like, they're brilliant at using cliches to be funny.
Yeah, like the bit where the cop has to roll down his window before he gasps, despite the fact he's looking right at it. The cop is great. Earl, I don't remember his last name.
It's like French.
Devereaux or something.
Yeah, it's French.
Yeah, he's played by Mr. T, which I didn't notice until the credits, because the thing about Mr. T is that that's such an archetypal voice that they could have gotten anybody to do it.
Yeah.
They got Mr. T.
There was only one reference to it in the end when he was doing the great sandwich run to save his family. And, like, I think he like, went through a piece of food and it left a T mark, but that's about it.
Yeah.
He has an inverted mohawk.
Yeah.
As opposed to a mohawk. Like,
did he say something about pitying a fool, but like they didn't do the exact line?
Probably.
Yeah, something like that. He wasn't in the second film. That was somebody doing a Mr. T voice.
That was Terry Crews. Really doing his voice like he sounds like that. He's great.
Yeah, Terry Crews is...
I love him.
Excellent. Yeah, Tooch tweeted earlier this week that Terry Crews is his favorite huge man, and I also agree.
He's great in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So is Andy Samberg.
So is everybody else in that show. It's a great show, but it's not the cartoon. So,
but they're not in this.
We've already talked about one non-cartoon thing today. So
yeah.
So we get a lot of great visual gags with all this food, and mostly just like the comedic slapstick of just big food falling from the sky and like it's just smashing into the ground. When the food gets big and like they're doing the great, like, we gotta band together as a town and do this, and like giant Doritos and shit and ice cream sandwiches are falling from the sky and like barely missing people who they would kill instantly.
Yeah. I think my favorite is when the pancake fell in the school.
Yeah, that was also from the book too. That was a famous illustration from the book. It was
really satisfying just watching that fucking, man, I want some
yeah, those little kids. My favorite dynamic was Officer Earl's incredible love for his son.
Yes, Cal.
His undying love for his precious baby boy.
His precious baby sweet angel Cal.
I just really appreciated like having a dad character just be so upfront with how much he loved his son, and like how it was hilariously juxtaposed with like Flint's feeling of neglect by his father. Oh, you guys. Some
other great details about Earl. His shorts, it's part of his uniform apparently, and he also jumps like a video game character.
Yeah, he's the best.
He can't jump without doing a somersault.
He's got permanently tight glutes in those shorts. Yeah, he's a delightful character. Let's see. Other than Baby Brent, there's the mayor.
Let's talk about the whole Sam thing, because I think that was the most subversive thing this movie did.
Well, I think the last character we've got is Steve the monkey.
Yeah.
The only reason I want to bring him up, because for literally no reason, because his voice is pitched to shit, and he has like 3 words, it's Neil Patrick Harris.
I know, I was like, what?
Anyone could have done that.
I know.
Yeah, both of them can voice act. They could have done it. I figured they did it.
Nope, it was Neil Patrick Harris.
And we got some money to throw away.
Yeah,
Gummy
right?
bears. But Sam.
The thing with Sam is that there's all these scenes where, like, he's showing her science stuff, and it's like, oh, does that mean you're using it? And she, like, does all this techno-babble, like, she's really into it. And then she's like, I mean, it's shiny, ha 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 ha. And you can kind of get what they're doing. Like, the first time she does that, it's like, oh, this is them. That's the first moment for me when I realized that this is a Lord Miller movie. Because the idea is that, like, in order to fit into the societal role she wants to, like, she loves meteorology. It's her whole life. She's all in on meteorology. But, you know, as a woman, she can't succeed in the world if she's perceived as a nerd. So she's got to put on this whole big front of being, like, this together, kind of ditzy, very pretty face type lady.
Yeah.
And so the whole time she's got to wear this mask. So when Flint and her go on a date in this giant Jell-O, which is, there's some great visual gags in there, like when he's playing the piano and the whole thing is reverberating.
I love the Jell-O palace.
Oh, also the way he types.
Oh my god, the way he types.
He just floppy slaps the keyboard
every
time.
It really does feel like Clone High if it was 3D rounder and had more animation going on. Like the weird gestures the character makes. Like every time somebody yells Flint's name to get his attention, he does like the karate chop pose thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just constantly
I related
wary.
to that so much because he's so paranoid. That has happened to me before. Like, someone's like, hey Nick, and I'm like, ah! And yeah, it's it's that exact stance.
Yeah, he's such a goober. I love him. But yeah.
True story. One time I was helping my a friend of mine from college move out of her room, and her phone went off, and it was a Pokemon battle theme. And just the acoustics in the room, it sounded like it was coming from everywhere. And I just immediately took that pose. In a moment of complete sincerity. It's like, I gotta be ready to go.
Yeah.
It was my time to shine.
So yeah, they're on this date in the Jell-O castle because she really likes Jell-O. Which is also kind of a neat callback to the book, because there was one illustration in the book that wasn't really explained. It just had this giant Jell-O in the background. But it's the exact same Jell-O that they did in the movie. And he's like, why do you do that? Why do you backtrack when you say something smart? Why do you do that? And then she explains the whole thing when she was a kid. She got made fun of with that hilarious chant. 4 eyes, you need glasses to see.
Wow.
I had to pause the movie. It really tickles me.
I think my favorite bit of comedic awkwardness like that was just Flint's complete and utter bloodlust for snowball fights.
Oh yeah.
He just and the way it was the camera was running with him, and just the over the shoulder perspective, and the way people's bodies would drop as if he actually shot them.
And the way he threw the balls, he lunged his whole body forward like a pitcher, but immediately.
And that's not snow; it's ice cream.
Yeah.
Just attacking people. In their
Like
homes.
he clobbers the mom, and she is pinned against a wall and then just slides down completely limp.
Just dead. He just assassinates children.
It's so dumb, but it's so funny. Ugh.
And then but before that scene, the face he makes at the line, so how you gonna top this? Oh, I don't know. With hot fudge, maybe? And then he just makes the shittiest face.
Yeah.
And also in that ice cream scene, it's oh, look, Steve got all those chocolate chips or whatever. And they're I don't think those are chocolate chips. Cause the joke is that he's throwing his shit around. But then it cuts to the two characters just frowning oh. I don't want
there's no real punch. It just happens.
Yeah, it's I don't want to do this.
Let's just ignore that.
Oh.
I think it's so clever. But anyway,
yeah, these guys are so good at their dookie jokes.
Because it's a joke. I feel at that point it's a joke about dookie jokes. Every gag is a small subversion.
They're all meta gags.
It's a joke at the expense of the kind of movie everybody thought this would be. Angry Birds. We saw the Angry Birds trailer, not even just the film. The Angry Birds trailer has an extended tortured scene of drinking piss. And this movie is making fun of the fact that that's just where these kinds of movies often end up going. It's it's a terrible idea for a movie, so let's just have all the characters shit everywhere. And these characters are I don't want to think about the poop. I don't like poop. I don't like that this monkey's throwing around poop. I don't like that we're talking about the poop. I want to be thinking about anything else.
There's ice cream, for God's sakes. Why aren't we eating the ice cream?
He pooped on the ice cream. Think about that. I don't recommend it.
Okay, so Sam. So she goes through her backstory and whatever, and then Flint's like, well, you know, you look pretty great as you are, but why don't we try what would you look like if you wore your glasses, just like for fun? And then she puts on her glasses, and he gives her a Jell-O scrunchie, which sounds so terrible for your hair. And he's like, wow, you look great.
Did you notice the very, very quick joke as she put on the glasses?
Yes.
Yep.
With her blurred vision, Flint looked really handsome. He had like a Bruce Campbell chin and like nice hair. But he's just like a complete goober schmuck. And she puts on the glasses like, okay.
And he's just like, yeah, wow, you look really nice like that. It like feels like you. And he's like, you know, you look great before, but I kind of like this better because it just feels like you're being yourself. And that's like, oh, that's a really nice little message, you know, like just kind of tucked away in there.
Yeah, because it's more than just, you know, be yourself. It's just like, you don't have to put on this front. Don't just like, well, I hope he likes me. It's not even that. It's just like, society won't accept me if I don't put on this front. And the movie's like, fuck that. That sucks so much.
You look dope with a ponytail, lady. Come on, who gives a shit? Get your meteorology battleship turbo machine and go crazy, cause fuck everybody. It was nice. And then the kissing.
God.
Yeah.
I was like, how does that even work?
Because there's a couple of things going on there, because like he puffs his cheeks out to kiss, and it could either be, or it's both of these things, that he doesn't know how to kiss because he's a loser nerd, or it's because his nose is so big it's the only way he can get his lips to reach.
Yeah, I think it's partly both. He doesn't know how to kiss, and also his nose is too big.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But like,
and then
I
she just was like, okay, I'll do this.
She was like, okay. I was like, and then when they both kiss,
it's actually
like
hard
that,
to actually do a kiss while you're puffing your cheeks out. I'm trying it right now. Let's all try it right now while really close to the mic.
I know, like I was doing what after.
No one else did that but you.
I did it, but in my own privacy. After I watched the movie, I was thinking about it, and I did it in the mirror, and I was like, that doesn't even work.
You can't pucker while doing that, because they're opposite motions.
Yeah, like, and because they do kiss at the end like that, and I'm like, how did they not just go bleh in their faces? Like, I don't know, it's cute and silly and delightful. Oh, my other favorite character was Sam's assistant, Manny, her cameraman.
Renaissance man.
He didn't get a time to shine until towards the end of the film, but we find out that he's not only a cameraman, but a doctor, and he can pilot, and he's a funny duder and makes fun of how he just happens to know how to do everything. And I love his delivery of things. Like, he's got that very serious delivery that's wonderful. And yeah, he was just a delightful character.
Yeah, he's great. And, you know, they let him do a lot more in the sequel.
Yeah.
So, you know, so we have this high-flying action scene where everybody's like, what are our strengths? Let's use them together and against the machine, because everybody's trying to, because the mayor's trying to stop it, because he's like, this is the only way I'll make money. I love to be fat.
Yeah, because he's trying to turn the island to a tourist destination. So he's like, you need to make it rain 3 times a day. And it's like, that's actually kind of a cool idea for a tourist destination. But, you know, the machine gets overworked to the point where it's just not viable anymore.
I'm trying to actually remember exactly how the climax played out. I guess kind of how you would expect. Yeah, and again, everybody uses their skills for some great goof-em-ups. We get inside the giant mutated machine that's got like all these food growths on it, and it's like kind of like Alien, especially the center with like that weird sphincter that it's emptying all the food into.
Yeah, it's so gross and awesome looking.
Yeah, or the chickens on like crawling on the roof sort of look like the xenomorphs.
No, with that, I don't know. This might be too specific for it, but that might be a reference to Silent Hill 2, the mannequin room. There's a hallway, or at least a piece of art, like it's on the instruction booklet for Silent Hill 2, of James walking through a hallway and all on the walls and the ceiling are the mannequins, which are the creepiest enemy in that game.
I don't know, maybe. They're nerds.
Seems really specific.
Be very much like the scary monster guys that don't move right on the ceiling. It could be a lot of things.
Yeah. And then it's also the Death Star.
Yes.
It explodes the exact same way. Because, of course, it explodes. How else would it be defeated? But yeah, they go in there, there's sentient food happening, and they're like, what? Brent becomes Chicken Brent. He transforms himself inside and out. There's the climax. Our lovers admit to each other that they like each other in the midst of a peanut allergy attack. The day is saved by spray-on shoes.
Because his dad doesn't know how to work a computer and sent him the wrong file.
The desktop.
The cat video that you watched for 3 hours.
a cat, like, rapping Fight the Power.
And then everything's great, and it's happy, it's smiley, and rainbows. There's a lot of rainbows in the end.
Yeah.
There's like 6 rainbows coming out of it.
Yeah, and then like the ending credits little 2D sequence, which was really cute. I had everything was rainbow colored.
Okay, that's my favorite joke, and they did it a couple of times, because, like, the weather was spreading all over the planet and fucking up all the monuments, which is a joke they also make in the second movie. It's like,
oh my God.
It's not fucking up the world, it's just fucking up all the monuments. And, like, in, like, Paris and Australia and everything, it's like, it's really cloudy and stormy, and then the clouds go away and it's sunny, and then it's over Big Ben, and
oh my God.
The clouds go away, and it's still overcast and garbage.
My favorite joke was the a la mode joke.
Ruthless.
Was the a la...
Oh, yeah. Yes!
So, Sam's being a weather girl. She's making puns about food, and it's, after the ice cream storm, and she does some pun about, and the town's gonna have it a la mode or whatever. And then we see it sort of be broadcast across the world and translate into different languages. And then it ends in the UK where it's translated into British English. But then instead of saying a la mode, she just says, topped with ice cream. Because the British are so literal.
Topped with ice cream.
Topped with ice cream. Also, they don't like using French terminology.
And they hate the French.
Yeah. They're actually they're some of the only English-speaking
They pronounce
media.
filet as fillet.
Yeah, they're like the only...
That's inexcusable.
They're like the only English-speaking media outlet that refuses to use French words in pronunciation. It's kind of weird.
Do you think they pronounce ennui as ennui?
Probably.
Do you think they're that petty?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then when they got their storm, it was just hot tea. It was still rain, but it was just tea. I like making fun of the UK. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
They're great. It's great.
It's great to poke fun at.
Oh, while you were talking, I looked up that Silent Hill image. I just posted. Tell me if you guys think it's anything. I think it's not.
No, Nikki,
it's not
that's
one
just a
to one enough
universal
to
thing.
be definitely what it was referencing.
Yeah, like Silent Hill didn't invent that like aesthetic.
I'm looking at the image itself. It's not. It would have to be like exactly that to be what they were deliberately trying to evoke.
Yeah, I mean, they said that the only things that they were like deliberately parodying or homaging or like taking influence from was Twister, Armageddon, The Core, and The Day After Tomorrow. Those kind of movies.
Disaster movies.
Weren't those all made by the same damn studio?
They probably.
Was it Roland Emmerich?
Yeah, Roland Emmerich did Day After Tomorrow, and maybe Armageddon. Maybe
I think
Twister.
he did Independence Day.
Yeah. I think that was his most successful one.
That's the first movie. It was a big success. Despite everything, you wouldn't think it would work, but it did. And I'm very pleasantly surprised it made I'm very pleasantly surprised it made any money. But one thing that made it so remarkable is that a movie with such a dumb premise worked on any level, and then also worked on such a nuanced level. Like, these guys are just really good at what they do. So when it came time to make a sequel, people were wondering, like, is lightning gonna strike twice? The answer, yes and no. It's certainly not as remarkable of a movie. It doesn't have the same kind of, like, subversive edge to it. It's a lot more of a standard movie in terms of its writing and its structure and everything. I mean, the first one had a standard structure, but like had the subversive writing. The second one isn't. It's just a fun, silly movie. It's still very good.
It's more just not it's more the same characters we all really love doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then the art department is doing more interesting things. It's visually a much more interesting movie.
I thought it was
gorgeous.
so creative. Foodimals, I love them. I love all of them. They're my babies.
They're so good.
They're my children. That's my two favorite thing. Animals and food. The only question it poses is like, what do they, once they all live together, what are they supposed to eat? Because isn't that kind of weird?
I mean, the food eats other food.
There's a bit in the credits where they're roasting marshmallows with the marshmallow guys. I think it's possible. I think very possible that the machine is still making non-sentient food, and you can eat that.
Okay.
Because like
that is kind of interesting.
Still like all the
but yeah.
But also
there's still like all the food wreckage and
some real food comes from sentient things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that.
Conceivably food.
Yeah, I mean, there's that
I think that may be the most subversive thing this movie really just grazes. It barely touches upon it.
Well, yeah, there's that part at the end where Sam is like...
I guess, if you want.
Yeah, there's that part at the end where Sam is like, how could you do this? They're living creatures. How could you just turn them into food? And I'm like, what? You were really digging that cheeseburger in the last movie. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, they're delightful. I love the pickles. They're all my buddies.
Oh, yeah.
I love them.
Yeah. I love, like, the pickles and the leek, how they have, like, those floppy vine legs.
Yeah, they're all Muppets.
They don't even really walk. It's just like flibba, flabba, flibba, flabba.
And they're Muppet mouths and, like, oh, they're so cute. And the marshmallows.
The marshmallows. I mean, Barry, who's the mascot, is great.
Yeah, he's like he's like an adorable Cartman. He kind of has a Cartman voice, just cutesified and...
the watermellophants, they're all good puns.
Oh my god, the watermellophants.
What are those things that were like brontosaurus-looking guys? What were those supposed to be?
Oh, I forgot.
Because like, so many of those animals, especially like when they first stumble upon the watering hole, it's just like a food with a beady eye on it. Like I assume they're hippotatoes.
Yeah, hippotatoes. I love the hippotatoes. Oh, here's a little chart. There's apple python, buffaloaf, cheese spider, crab cake, cucumberty, eggplanty, flamingos, hippotatomus. Oh, they're so cute. Fruit cockatiel. There's berry. There's the banana ostrich. What were those other guys? Shrimpanzee, Sioux sheep, sweet pickle and pearl, the tacodile supreme, the meat walrus, the mosquitoast, watermellophant, and the wild scallion, and the wildebeest. They're so cute. I love puns.
I don't think those guys were ever named. The ones I was going for. Because, I mean, the puns are very good.
No, it was the wild scallion was the guy you were talking about.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're the wild scallion. They were the long-necked thing. Scallions are like green onions.
Yeah.
Those long, little skinny guys. But yeah, these... I love it.
Yeah, and like the puns are just like, these are all dumb puns, but we're just gonna, again, Red Rover right into them.
Just beat you over there.
Like the characters are so excited with about these puns.
The kiwi bird's a kiwi. It's
that was so good.
You have no idea how much I love these guys. Because, like, when I first saw the preview for this second film and I saw the designs of these characters, I was like, that looks so creative and fresh and wonderful. Like, my friends made fun of me for liking it because it looked kind of also bad. But, like, it's just, they're just so adorable and, like, so clever. I find them so clever and engaging. These little these foodimals. Like the cantaloupe with its creepy teeth seeds.
I think the best one, though, was when they go like, oh, what's that one? That's just a tomato. And the tomato's really upset that it's not some weird animal hybrid.
Yeah. Or the cheese spider having like all the sesame seeds being eyes.
Yeah, terrifying. I loved it.
Yeah. I love it. And the little pickle lady having the tackle as earrings once she met with the dad. It was so cute.
Yeah,
I could
there's
go
also
on.
a hammer bread shark, the butter toad is
The butter
wonderful.
toad. The butter toad.
The Tyrannosaurus mess.
Butter.
And the subwhales.
Subwhales.
Although the subwhales raised a point is like, they can't swim. Mr.
Man.
Yeah, but who
Mr.
cares?
Will Forte man.
That was
We
never
gave
the
you a real
problem.
role in this one. Yeah.
Also,
Will
Sam
Forte
looks
was
like
that guy with
the lady from Jurassic Park. Her outfit is
Who does?
directly the Jurassic Park outfit.
Oh yeah. Will Forte plays the villain in that one, Chester V, who Will Forte was in the first movie as the guy with the beard and the hat who would just like make comments, because these guys have rolled with Will Forte from the beginning. He's gonna be in everything they do. So they had to give him something to do.
Yeah.
And then in this one he had a major role.
Chester V is a really good character. I like him in this film. He's a good villain.
Me too. Like,
Yeah, and the way they animate him was so fun. He's always tutting.
yeah, he's like this Steve Jobs-esque hippie.
Yeah, just this really hipster fucking modern, like minimalist Apple motherfucker. Like who's like does yoga and like namaste and shit. It's like, shut up.
The coffee and we also have Christian Shaw playing a new character.
Barb.
Barb.
The talking the orangutan.
Yeah. She was cute.
She was great.
I liked her glitter nails. And her matching glitter
Yeah.
eyeshadow. She was very fab. So, in the second movie, the plot is that... interestingly, the second movie picks up right where the first one left off. Like, right where it left off. I mean, it does like a little summary thing, and then it's just like back on the island exactly. And they're like, let's build a lab. We're all friends. Yay. Yeah. And then, what's his name shows up.
And they actually make the same joke with Steve again.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Steve draws on the paper that they're all drawing themselves on. It's like, where did you get a brown crayon? Oh. And I'll just like look at their shoes for a bit because it's like, I don't wanna. I still don't want to do this.
Monkeys aren't pets.
Nope.
This animal's loose.
So they're all like, hey! And then Chester V shows up and he's like, we're here to help you clean up your home. And they're like, cool. And then he's like, but you have to leave. And they're like, aw, what? This is our home. And he's like, but you need to, and we're gonna give you cool stuff, and you can live in San Diego or whatever it was called.
It was San Frangilisi. I came up with one that combined them all, but I forgot it.
Okay. Great. So they're relocated to San Fran Diego, and they all kind of have different jobs, and they're adjusting to their new lives, and they're there for a couple months, and then Flint is invited to be part of his brain trust or whatever thing he runs. And he's very excited because he was Thinkwinauts.
It's like what is it?
The Aquabats.
No, Imagineers.
Oh yeah, the Imagineers.
Imagineers, and then the Futurama equivalent Fungineers.
Yeah. But it's like he doesn't even give him the Thinkwinaut job. He starts out at low level at LivTech, just like doing shit or like making inventions to try and fucking prove himself to be a Thinkwinaut, and he doesn't even get there. Like that's the first hint. That's the first hint that Chester V is just not that cool of a guy, is that he's just completely blows off Flint. Even
Yeah.
though he was acting all fucking buddy-buddy with him, or his hologram was.
It was also just sort of like a humbling moment for Flint, too, I guess, because, like, I don't know, there was a lot of inventions. There was a lot of goobers just like him, making equally useless but very effective inventions.
And yet he still didn't fit in. Like, they made fun of his thing, and it's like, homie, yours was just as dumb.
Yeah, I guess it's because it exploded in front of everybody, and it was kind of funny the way that it exploded.
You would think that shit would happen every day, that would just be the environment. But it's like, no, actually, this isn't a good work environment. Everybody's very cutthroat because they all want to be a Thinkonaut.
I like when he was walking home all slumpy and sad and that song's playing, and then he, like, sees Sam on the TV, and he calls her, and he's like, hey, I want to talk to you. You're probably not picking up because you're reporting a storm right now. I can see you on the TV. But when you get this, it's like, I don't know, it was really cute. His weird cell phone. So he's all sad, and then his dad and Sam have to cheer him up, and he's like, Chester V's never gonna be my dad. And then we cut back to the island, and apparently it's not so great. So Chester and Barbs is like, oh shit, we gotta do something. How do we fix this? And we're like, we need somebody expendable, desperate, who idolizes me, knows the terrain, classic Lord and Miller writing. Basically, they tell Flint he needs to go and turn off the machine because the island's full of crazy evil food monsters that are going to swim and take over the world. And by the world, we mean the monument. Lady Liberty, the only monument that wasn't destroyed in the last apocalypse. So that's sort of like the jump start for the main thrust, which is them on the island with the foodimals.
Yeah, so they get the gang back together. They go over there to fix the Probalo at Chester's request, but Chester only wanted Flint to go. Everyone else going there is against his plans because he wants to be able to manipulate him. So then he later goes on the island, and there's all this stuff of him trying to tear him apart. He's very much like Palpatine whispering in his ears, like, they're all trying to get you. I'm the only one who cares. That shiny thing is like Oh, he also always pronounced bully as bully. I loved that.
Yeah, bully.
That's a joke for me.
Yeah, so, he's trying to turn him against his friends, and his friends are like, man, what's up with Flynn? I don't like that Chester guy. This is weird. They meet Barry, who's the cutest, patootiest strawberry baby ever. He jams himself. They make that joke. They have no problem with that one. Long story short, they get separated because Flint is listening to Chester too much and doesn't trust his friends and their opinions, because Sam tries to tell him, like, hey, I think these animals are just animals. Like, they're not evil, they're just, like, animals. They might even be better than regular animals, because they all seem very, like, friendly, and they don't seem to kill each other or anything, so it's like, maybe we shouldn't destroy it, because it's kind of cool. This place is, like, the coolest. And then, Chester's like, no, we need to destroy them all, blah, blah, blah. Laser helmet, tracking, walking, betrayal, sad, redemption, marshmallows, dad, pickles, God, TV, I don't know, bunch.
There's a lot of. There's a great juxtaposition in that scene where Sam's like, you know what, Flint, fuck you. And he's like, Sam, no, come back. But they're in a syrup swamp. So he's yelling at her to come back, and she's taken 20 steps that have moved her a foot and a half.
He's like, Sam, no, please wait, Sam.
God.
Sam, please, no, I didn't mean it. Sam, come back.
And, so obviously they get to the Flizniffer, and the kill switch they gave him, he called the BS USB.
The whole time I was like, yeah. It was pretty obvious from the beginning, if you're, like, not a child, I guess.
It takes kind of, I would say, too long for Flynn to really realize what's up. Like, I feel like he should have figured it out earlier, but, you know, what are you gonna do? What really turns him over flips him over to the other side is he sees the marshmallow men getting born. And they're just marshmallows. There's nothing to them. Oh, did you notice that really brief visual joke? He's petting the marshmallow, and then he talks a bit and he stops, and the marshmallow, like, nudges his hand. It's like, no, keep petting me. Like the way a dog does.
Yeah. So sweet. Yeah, their marshmallows are little faces. And they swim.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's great.
And so Chester takes the device, and, like, all the foliage it's linked up to, like, shuts down all over the island, so, like, and everybody's worried, and then they kidnap all the living food, and he wants to use it for his shitty food bar, which I guess is the only thing he's invented since the 70s.
Yeah, his Soylent Green collection. Or Soylents. It probably is, like, fucking Soylent. Like, that actual Soylent product that's a real thing that has absolutely no awareness of the fact that it took its name from Soylent. And it's trying to sell itself as a legitimate product.
Yeah, hell, he was gonna put people in it. So, who knows how many times that has happened before?
So, Flint gets dumped in the water, the marshmallows save him and bring him to his daddy, and then
he's like joined this tribe of are they pickles or whatever?
They're the pickles!
The pickle people.
They eat sardines.
They eat sardines and they learn to fish.
These ones are the most Muppety. You can just make Muppets of these guys. Their heads are all floppy.
I love them.
Yeah, they make noise. Their heads are on a hinge.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them so much. Oh.
And the one lady is, like, really Jersey-ish.
Yeah.
She's got a little onion pet.
Oh, I think it's supposed to be a baby. Maybe it is a pet. I don't know. But,
I think they said pet.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, Flint is like, oh no, what have I done? Everything's awful and bad. And then Barry comes and it's like, Flint, your friends. I've been following them this whole time to make sure they're okay. And they're not. Do something. But it's Barry, so he can't really talk all the way. He learns to talk a little bit. And then we get this reveal that all the foodimals think that Flint is basically God. That word that Barry's been saying the whole time was actually their word for their God. Yeah, and he was saying it in response to him because the walking TV from the first movie that he invented when he was a kid.
That fucking TV.
Had recorded some...
That Conti Jr. motherfucker.
Had recorded some footage of when Flint was originally explaining the device, and it got kind of jarred. And so all the foodimals were, like, watching it, being like, this is where we came from.
This is where we came from.
This is where we
It's
came
where we come from, it is.
Ooh, or whatever. Ooh. What was it? Ooh.
Enwoo.
Eewoo.
Enwoo.
Enwoo.
It was Flint Lockwood.
Enwoo.
And
And then Flint is like, okay, look, you guys are cool. I'm not your god, but I need your help. I'm just a doober. I'm such a doober, you guys.
And then
Please.
Barry's translating behind him, just saying the exact same shit, like in the same language, clearly, but just
But
like
in a squeaky voice.
A squeaky, mumbly voice.
Yeah, like almost hitting every syllable, but not quite.
I'm a doer. I'm such a doer, you guys. My friends are in trouble. Like, I love it so much. So they build a gigantic fishing rod to launch Flint, I keep saying Flint, over to the center of the island where they've got their evil secret base. That's not very secret. So he can rescue his friends. And he goes with Barry, because Barry knows what's up, you know.
Yeah.
He's got a football helmet. It's important.
A football helmet. So they find all the foodimals in captivity. They release them. They have this battle sequence. Barry gets in one of those cyber suits, and it's awesome. Because it's like a mech for him, proportionally. Because he's so small. Flint finds his friends, and they're all captured and gonna get destroyed and turned to food. And Chester's like, what does he want from him? To give up? At this point, I forgot what he's blackmailing him to do.
He does it, he uses holograms as like a diversion, and they're all doing the same floppy, annoying dance. and like the last movie, he gets to use his shitty invention from the beginning as a Chekhov's gun to win. And the orangutan Barb realizes that he was an asshole, and so he changes sides.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Because, there was that little moment when Flint, like, saved her, like, and he was, like, genuinely like, Barb, no! And he, like, saved her from the taco gator? Tacodile. Yeah. And then, like, Sam and the others were like, he's not your friend. He calls you a monkey. If he was your friend, he wouldn't call you a monkey.
And she's doing like the very like internalized abuse thing. It's like, it's a joke. It's how we play. It's like, does he think it's a joke?
I don't know.
Fucking real.
And it's the adorable Christian Shaw voice, so you're like, oh
no. Yeah, this is barely shrill Kristen Shaw, which I also like. I mean, I like all levels of shrillness on the Kristen Shaw scale. That's how we should measure shrillness. Is the unit of measure should be shawls?
Yeah, shawls.
That's clever. I'm sorry, I'm tired.
Yeah, so once again they save the day. Chester fucking dies.
Yeah,
he's patently dead.
He's fundamentally dead. And everything's good. And they like make a new society on the island, living in harmony with the foodimals and the food peoples, which may be a separate thing, like the more sentient ones, who knows. But that's the movie.
It's cute. And they build a lab.
They build a lab.
And
so
Barb
that's the
joins
franchise.
the team.
Like we said, the second one is pound for pound not as good as the first one. It's visually a lot more interesting, but the story's a lot more standard and doesn't have as much of a.
I feel like the main thing that made it lose its punch was because we already know this concept can work, so they had less to prove.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the thing is that you go into that movie expecting it to be good, and then when it is good, you're satisfied. The first one, everybody expected to be turbo garbage. And then when it was great, everybody was super surprised. So because of the relative expectations, the first one's received a lot better. I went into this having not seen either of them, but expecting them both to be good. And I do think the first one is overall stronger, but they're both great.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed these films. Very genuinely enjoyed these films.
I was too the first time I saw them. I very much wasn't expecting much. I wasn't necessarily expecting them to be bad, but they definitely went above and beyond the Call of Duty.
Yeah, because even that, I remember seeing trailers for the second one, having understood the first one was good, and seeing the trailers for the second one, seeing it looks like pretty good. It's either way really better than it looks and better than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
And,
still really noteworthy, and these are definitely
we talked about,
good.
When we were talking about this movie, in pre-pro, it's like, I thought the second one was supposed to be bad. And I can understand some of the animation dickheads that Nina goes to school with.
Yeah.
Being really dismissive of it because it's because it is more of just a standard, fun, solid movie as opposed to this weird subversive thing that nobody expected. That because it's not as profound of a movie, it's immediately bad.
Well, I think it's because they just don't get they didn't get how much the movie knew it was being cliche. I think there are just some people that went over their heads. They just thought the movie was genuinely just being this cliche and mediocre, but it's not But in actuality, it's very aware of what it's doing, and it plays with the fact that it's doing that. And it's almost like this inside joke with the audience that you either seem to get or you don't get. And I think a lot of people, they don't get it. They think it's just like a whatever.
It is what it is.
Children's movie, like a forgettable kids movie, and not like actually something really clever. Because on the surface, that's what I meant at the beginning. Like, on the surface level, you take it at face value, it is just like a generic, mediocre, whatever kids movie that flies by and you don't think about. But because it's so self-aware of itself, the writing is tight. It sort of ascends that and is able to sort of make commentary about that while also very much being that movie.
Yeah, it's a movie that can be enjoyed on a superficial level. Like, if you just want to see a movie about pizza fall from the sky, then this is the movie, and it's a good one of those. You know, and like, again, it was a stepping stone to the Lego movie. The Lego movie can also be appreciated superficially, and I wonder if that's just how kids appreciate it, because I don't know how much of the subtext they got. But, Lego movie was a lot more overt about its subtext. Like, that whole scene where Emmett is getting ready for the day is all like this subversive subtextual stuff that's like, that's when the movie's like that quick. I was already like, what the fuck is this movie? How did they make this movie? How did nobody stop them from making this movie?
Yeah, and like,
there's stuff like that in CwaCoM, but it's not as overt.
Yeah, it's a little more subtle. Like, the movie definitely does, like, I felt that way immediately with that opening, like, monologue with, Flint. I felt like the movie was like going like nudge nudge, like hey, you know, guess look what we're doing, the thing that everybody does, it's the thing. And I thought it was hilarious, but it's a little bit more subtle and a little bit more, and it is performed so genuinely that it just feels like that's what they're going for if you're not as aware of the humor behind it. Like, I don't know if I was supposed to laugh at the dead mom thing, but just the way it was delivered was just so cliched and so unoriginal and hackneyed and
it was
done.
So cavalier.
That it was like, it has to be a joke. It has to be a joke.
But it's like a joke that the writers wrote for themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, that's these movies. Definitely recommend them. I don't know if they're available for free anywhere.
Yeah, I couldn't find them legitimately.
I've a couple of months back, I was in a Walmart for some reason and found the first one in the $5 DVD bin, and then I rented the other one on Amazon. I think the second one used to be on Netflix, but the contract expired, and it was scheduled to be thrown into the fire.